Good afternoon, children. Today we will learn an EVS lesson on sharing of ideas. So, children, do you know the early man used signs to communicate with each other? He later drew signs and symbols on the walls of caves to express his feelings and ideas. This was his first attempt at writing. But he could not express everything he felt. Thus, spoken language was born. He was not able to record his thoughts and ideas. Writing was invented around 5000 years ago. Early writing was done on walls, stones, leaves, and leather. Many years later, paper was invented. Things were written down by hand. Since printing had not been developed, things had to be copied. And then soon there was the invention of the newspaper. Till the early 20th century, newspapers were the main medium through which people learned about what was going on in the world. The first newspaper was called Acta Diurna, was brought about in Rome in 60th BC by Julius Caesar. Since then, thousands of newspapers are printed in many languages in the world. Can you tell me what do we see in the newspaper? A newspaper gives us news, information about people, special articles, crosswords, puzzles, games, television programs, etc. Then we had the invention of the telegraph. For a long time, people would exchange ideas or news only as fast as a ship could sail or a man or a horse could run. Today, coded messages are sent through wires by means of this instrument called telegraph. They are received by an operator at the other end. These are then put into words. This efficient system was invented by Samuel Morse. Morse, an artist, invented the code of dots and dashes called the Morse code. The telegraph solved two major problems of communication, that is, distance and time. The invention of the telephone. The telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. The telephone could carry the voice of the speaker over long distances, and two people could actually talk to each other over hundreds and thousands of kilometers. Today, we have the telephone services between countries and continents. In a span of 10 years, the radio was invented. The invention of the radio by Marconi in 1886 brought about a great revolution in the field of communication. Messages now went around the world in no time. An Indian scientist, J.C. Bose, had actually invented the radio but could not read his idea to the world. Soon, in some years, John Logie Baird invented the television in 1926. But the modern television was invented by Vladimir Zworykin. Television makes it possible for us to hear as well as see what is going on around the world. Later, there was the invention of the satellite. Do you know what is a satellite? A satellite is a man-made moon that orbits around the Earth. Rockets are used to launch these satellites into space. Today, there are about 5,000 artificial satellites around the Earth. Artificial satellites are sent in space for several reasons. One of them is communication. Communication satellites pick up signals from one place on the Earth and relay them to the other side of the world. This means that radio, television, and telephone signals can be transmitted around the Earth. Some satellites carry powerful cameras which take pictures of the Earth's surfaces. This helps weather experts and makes maps accurate. Sergio Korolev launched the first satellite called Sputnik 1 on the 4th of October 1957. So, children, we come to the end of this chapter. You can see, children, how from the invention of the newspaper to the invention of the satellites, how man shared his ideas all over the world and received news from one corner of the world to another. Thank you, children.